1230 WBVP 1460 WMBA 99.3 presented by St. Barnabas, live streaming at beavercountyradio.com, available free on the Beaver County Radio app, and live Facebook streaming right now. We roll out the red carpet for Jack. Jack Manning is here. We're asking the commissioners. How are you?
I'm doing well, Eddie.
We got all platforms covered for you today.
That's nice.
Well, that's
Yeah,
nice, but
it.
that also gives people more access if they've got questions,
Okay.
or if they've got things. And I'm thinking of it as kind of a warm-up for what you got going on tomorrow.
Yes.
If you've got questions for Jack, it's called Ask the Commissioners for a reason. Easiest way is to post them on the Facebook live stream. This is being live streamed on our Facebook page right now. But tomorrow is the State of the County.
Mm-hmm.
You've done this a few times.
Yes,
Yeah,
from both
you've run it.
perspectives.
Okay, that's what I want to get to. First,
Yeah.
from the answering questions perspective, which you'll be involved in tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
how many State of the Counties have you dealt with?
Well, when I was running the chamber, obviously for 4 or 5 years,
All of them.
was on the podium with everybody,
Right.
you know, welcoming folks, asking questions.
Now,
Even
we-
before that, as a business owner, I would always attend those events
Mm-hmm.
with the chamber. But this actually tomorrow will be 2 years to the day of taking office. So this will be my second
Okay.
as a county commissioner, being on the other side
Yeah.
of having the questions posed to me, as well as the opportunity to obviously give our overall assessment of the state of the county.
What did you find out when you had to answer questions that you didn't think about when you were on the other side as a business owner just attending the meeting? I want you to be honest. Be honest.
yeah,
The stupid questions, how many of them are there?
No, I don't think much surprise.
No?
And I doubt if anything will surprise me tomorrow. But I always am enlightened by the perspective of people
Okay.
that are asking. And that's the good part about it. And even when I was chamber president, I mean, I didn't, you know, people sometimes dismiss or don't understand that the chamber, just as in business and industry, chamber members are, there are unions that belong, there are municipalities that belong.
Right.
There are nonprofits that belong, there are faith-based church groups that belong, small business owners, industry.
Right.
It's a very eclectic mix.
That's a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah, but that's the uniqueness, and that's what I used to love about that, is getting that broad perspective of what is life in Beaver County and the region like from all those different perspectives. Because I see it, you know, we all have a lens that we view
Absolutely,
the
no.
world through based on our own experiences. And it's always enlightening. And as somebody that considers myself a lifelong learner,
Yeah.
hearing from different people, different perspectives is always good. So there's no good or bad questions.
Okay.
It's just a matter of perspective. What is difficult at times are questions that are asked that really don't fall under the purview of a commissioner. So
Oh,
somebody's
so
got-
you're having to tell somebody that's got nothing to do with me. You're having to be
Yeah,
polite, but
exactly.
Okay.
Somebody's got a burr under their saddle, and it's because of something Harrisburg did, or the state
Right.
did, or Congress did, and there's not a whole lot of influence we have on being able to resolve that issue. And we repeatedly tell our local state reps and stuff, you know, what somebody gets a call, the state rep calls us and say, hey, we say, well,
we'd love to handle
You created that
Yeah.
problem by the law you passed.
Yeah.
We're dealing with it. I can't solve it unless you guys want to get involved to figure out how to improve the law or how to make the changes that are necessary to do those kinds of things. But it's great. I mean, hearing about Veterans Affairs, hearing about some of the struggles people have with nonprofits and small businesses.
especially over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and especially, yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, exactly 2 years in office tomorrow. I didn't expect the pandemic to break out less than 100 days into
That's
this
right.
first
Yeah.
term.
So your
so I pretty
entire
much-
term.
Pretty much been dealing with this the whole time.
How much of your day is dealing with something pandemic or COVID related? At least as it affects one of those groups you were talking about.
I'll tell you right now, pretty much all of the economic issues somehow have a direct link to the pandemic. If you talk about the labor shortage, if you talk about inflation, if you talk about issues with the supply chain, and those are all the things that people are struggling with.
Right.
Again, whether you're a nonprofit or anything else, it all comes back to the pandemic and the impact that that's had on all those aspects.
You mentioned money. I remember having a conversation with you. Beaver County is sitting on a ton of money. We've just got to figure out what to do with the ton of money.
Yeah.
Are we any how many millions of dollars? This is COVID funding, correct?
Well, it's the American Rescue
Okay.
Act plan that we have gotten 46 million of the 92 that's going to be allocated to. So we're sitting on 46 million.
Nice.
And we'll get another 46 somewhere late spring, May, maybe June.
Do you have to spend the 46 before you get the second 46?
No.
This is like Brewster's Millions or something?
No.
So
It's
you
there,
can-
but I will tell you this. It's like anything else. It's not that I don't trust the government, but but we're not going to spend money until we actually have it in the bank. Now, what we have done with the 46, and you may have seen this, we've certainly talked about it at our work sessions. We'll be passing a resolution next Thursday that is allocating 18 million to the municipalities. So we asked for infrastructure projects.
Okay.
We got 110, 112 submissions that came into us. We said we were going to set aside 10 million of the first 46 to kind of handle the
for that.
infrastructure.
Okay.
You know, send us your proposals. We'll see if they qualify. If they qualify, given the regulations and the requirements of the act that was passed, then we'll reimburse you for funds towards those projects. Well, the 110 or 112 projects that came in from 46 or 47 different entities totaled $66 million.
Okay, so it went over.
Obviously more than we had anticipated. So we ended up allocating 18 million of what we have so far to that. Letters of notification went out to those municipalities, water authorities, sewer authorities.
How many municipalities are we talking about?
We have 53 municipalities, but some of them were water and sewer authorities that cover multiple municipalities that also submitted. All infrastructure, you know, pretty much hard infrastructure type projects, right? Improving water supply, improving sewage, expanding capacity for future development by extending water and sewer hookups and the like.
Sidewalks. Right now in Ambridge, there's
Nothing
a whole
on
lot of
sidewalks.
sidewalk work.
We do have one that's kind of a streetscape related item. So it's very difficult. I mean, you get 110 projects in from all these things. I can't prioritize whether, you know, fixing a pump in Vanport is more important than extending a water and sewer line in Hopewell versus some of these other things. So we went through and we developed a formula to be able to give everybody something of what it is. And we kind of capped it at about 1.25 million was the largest single amount that we gave to each of them. So it's a pretty good start for most people. We tried to do it with projects that we had a good deal of faith was going to be completed, because we don't want to put money into something that
going to
gets
disappear
halfway done and
right.
then there's no capability to finish it off. And we're kind of biased towards things that will create new opportunities, new revenue, new development, new growth in the county.
That will grow besides just the project site.
I mean, there's a lot of,
right.
we have, I mean, particularly in our 8 to 10, you know, traditional legacy river towns and boroughs, there's a lot of old infrastructure, right? A lot of old water, sewer lines, lead pipes still in a couple of communities, and the like. So there's a lot that needs to be repaired. And some's just aging stormwater runoff, those kinds of things. These are all qualifiable infrastructure projects. So going through that, we want to try and give as much bang for the buck as we could to help improve those infrastructure issues.
You said when people applied for those grants, they had to meet the criteria or the qualifications. Wasn't that one of the problems you told me about as far as the federal government hadn't told you exactly what you were allowed to use the money for?
Well, interestingly enough, they still have not issued
Really?
the final regulations of that. But we have a pretty good idea. We know some of the stuff's kind of a no-brainer based on the language they have there.
Okay.
And some of it's just very generic, so it gives you a little bit of leeway of how you interpret some of those things. But these are all, everything that was submitted met the eligibility for it. And we have an outside third party that works with multiple counties across the state and is very well versed in the regulations and the changing regulations. We get the updates constantly when they say, yeah, we've tweaked a little bit, this is now good, or this isn't.
Really?
And the like. So we'll get some of that stuff from the Treasury and from these other outside agencies.
All right. At the State of the County but presentation that's going on tomorrow at Geneva, how much of the information you just talked about will be included in that? Because we're just sitting here and talking for a little bit. That's a 2-hour presentation. How detail-oriented are some of the questions? Because we're talking about millions of dollars that can help where we live. People are going to have questions.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're going to give a whole lot. I don't want to spend the whole time doing a PowerPoint presentation to people. I want to hear. I want it to be a dialogue. I want it to be a conversation. So does Dan. Dan Camp will be there as well with me, and we want it to be a conversation. We want to hear the perspective of other folks and what specific issues they may have. But we'll give an overview. I mean, we've been trying to communicate what we're trying to do with this money, where the buckets are being allocated to. I've mentioned before broadband. We've got 20 million earmarked toward broadband. We've spent a couple of million. Well, we've specifically allocated a couple of million to start with the engineering of actually going through a 7-step process. So I think we'll be fairly generic in some of those things.
Okay.
Depending on how the questions come up, how the moderator asks them, what they want from us, rather than us just trying to. I think our opening remarks, at least my opening remarks, are only going to be a couple of minutes just to talk about the overall state of the county.
You going to open with a joke?
How I feel things are going.
12 Republican gubernatorial candidates walk into a coliseum, like that.
Okay, I'll open it up with saying I'm here to announce that I will not be running for governor.
So yeah, Luke, you know what?
How's that work?
The applause that would get, that's when you do a George Costanza and just, that's it, I'm out, and leave Dan Camp sitting there going,
my work is done here. Yeah. See y'all later.
Camp just glares daggers at you as you just walk off waving to the crowd.
There you go.
The State of the County address is tomorrow. My guest is going to be right in the midst of it. I'm talking with County Commissioner Jack Manning. It's Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Accidents happen. It's just a part of life. Fortunately, Medic Rescue is always close by, ready to provide vital emergency care when you need it. For over 40 years, Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's premier provider of emergency medical care and transport services. Our highly trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians can evaluate emergency situations quickly and accurately, so you get the professional, life-saving care that you need 365 days a year. When you invest in a Medic Rescue membership, you receive top-of-the-line unlimited emergency and medically necessary non-emergency ambulance transports with minimal out-of-pocket expenses. Don't wait another day to sign up for your Medic Rescue membership. Have peace of mind that when an emergency strikes, we'll be there. Become a member of Medic Rescue today. To learn more, call 724-728-3621. That's 724-728-3621. Medic Rescue. Caring for our community.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
The best of Beaver County is easy to discover. It's right here on your radio. Tune in this and every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 for the best of Beaver County, presented by St. Barnabas. The show is hosted by Mike Romai and is dedicated to shining light on great things going on right here in your neighborhood and the people that are making it happen. This Thursday, enjoy conversation and insight from an intriguing lineup of guests that are creating excitement and having an impact right here in Beaver County. The Best of Beaver County is presented by St. Barnabas. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County Radio. It's your chance to encounter the best of Beaver County with new show host Mike Romai this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com/the best of Beaver County.
You're listening to Ask the Commissioners on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. The Commissioners are awaiting your questions by calling 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Today's show is brought to you by Huntington Bank, the Laughlin Insurance Agency, and Beaver Valley Auto Mall. Click beavervalleycars.com. You can also post comments or questions in the Facebook Live video feed. And now, it's your chance to Ask the Commissioners, right here on Beaver County Radio.
I want to ask the commissioner. Jack Manning is my guest. If you want to ask, you can call, like he just said. You can post your question on the comments section, kind of like as a warm-up for what you got tomorrow. You've got basically an introduction with a joke. I'm telling you, open with a joke.
Okay.
I'm not running for governor. That's a great.
There you go.
Leave camp sitting there.
Okay.
Tomorrow is the.
Well, you just spoiled it. It won't be a surprise.
Oh, nobody's listening to me. When you break it out tomorrow, that'll be the first they've heard
There
it.
you go.
They listen to you. They're not listening to me.
Just for you, Eddie, I will say that.
Yeah. How's that political career going? It was great till I told a joke. State of the county is tomorrow. Can you break it down quickly? How many questions are going to be about infrastructure and how many questions are going to be about broadband? Or is there any way to know? You've been involved in almost double digits of these.
Yeah, you never really know. I mean, you kind of anticipate. I mean, there's some universal issues that everybody is facing right now. And as I mentioned a little earlier, about labor, right? Trying to
jobs and
hire
hiring.
and retain
Absolutely.
people. There's more job hopping, more quitting of jobs, and people going elsewhere than probably we've ever seen
I can
before.
never
That's
remember.
universal. Whether you're worried about running your nonprofit, trying to keep your small business open for longer hours because you don't have the personnel.
Yeah.
And the supply chain's an issue. Yesterday we got word, and I think we'll probably sign a purchase order today for a new Zamboni.
Yay!
Right. So
I got to scratch that question off my list. I wanted a Zamboni update.
We've been working on this for a while. So we finally got word. Yes, they'll accept our order. Yes, we can, submit and order it, and it'll probably be ready July, August or so.
Yeah, they don't.
And I'm sure they're having the same problems making Zambonis that the car dealers are having trying to get car inventory. I mean, still, you drive by any car lot,
Yeah.
and it's
Sparse.
scarce. And it's just because of the backlog. The global supply chain has been totally turned on its ear as a result of COVID and all these things. So supply chain issues, I mean, it's one thing to have a business and have the people to run it. It's another to make sure you've got the materials
stuff,
and the supply and whatever you need in order to be able to make whatever it is you make or serve whatever it is you serve. So
Well, you're talking about the ice rink. You need a Zamboni to run an ice rink.
Yeah, so I mean, the good news would be for next year's hockey season, local youth hockey season, should have a new Zamboni in place. It's things like that. They're the universal issues. Sometimes there's a nuance or something we hadn't thought about, hadn't seen, hadn't anticipated,
Right.
hadn't done it, and that's always the good part about it is
That perspective.
getting something on our radar that we hadn't thought about. And Dan's the same way, and so is Tony. I mean, we try not to stay in our bubble of the courthouse. We get out and around. I mean, one of the reasons why I like to come here is to get the perspectives from what you guys are hearing
Right.
On the radio station and from folks. I go to a lot of events, COVID aside, with the
Right.
restraints that have been on how many events are actually being held
No doubt.
in person. But I'd like to attend those just to get the different perspectives of what's going on. I got into this because of people. I mean, I've been, no matter what role I've had in my working career, and I've been working full time since I was 20 years old, it's still about relationships and people rather than what it was we were making, what we were trying to do as an organization, what the service was. It's about people, and that's what excites me about these events is being able to have that interaction with people and help solve issues and make the quality of life better here in Beaver County.
Jack Manning is my guest. I've got more Zamboni questions. What kind of deluxe accommodation packages that we ordered? We'll do that after news on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Frank Sparks.
And good morning, as today's forecast is calling for increasing clouds throughout the day, high of 29 degrees. Snow showers will move in this evening. Less than an inch of accumulation expected here locally in Beaver County. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast coming up for you right after we have this look at news. Quippa City Council met last night and they discussed many issues during the meeting. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano has more.
Tech Electric Incorporated bid estimate to supply new pole lights on the 400 block of Franklin Avenue heading north was approved by council Wednesday night. Mayor Dwan B. Walker told council it's about moving the city forward. We need to hire more police officers, install new sidewalks, lighting, and facade for the city streetscape. The Fifth Avenue Hill grant of $2.5 million is the first round for the city's infrastructure, he said. The Third Avenue playground will be built. The city is to receive a T-Mobile grant for $50,000 on Thursday, January 20th, 2022 at 2 p.m. at their business in the Alcopa Shopping Center for the playground. This is Sandy Giordano reporting for Beaver County Radio.
Last night, the Powerball went off, and it was a huge jackpot of $632.6 million. Unfortunately, nobody from Pennsylvania hit on that jackpot, but there were 2 tickets sold, one in California, one in Wisconsin. Those winners will split that $632.6 million jackpot, or if they choose the cash annuity, they'll split $450.2 million. Now, the winning numbers were 6, 14, 25, 33, and 46. The Powerball was 17. Now, the Pennsylvania Lottery says do not throw away your tickets. Check them again because there were some big winners here in Pennsylvania, just not the jackpot. The U.S. is strengthening its COVID-19 booster campaign, endorsing an extra shot for everyone aged 12 and older. Boosters already were permitted at the age of 16 and urged for most adults as the nation battles the Omicron surge. Earlier this week, regulators authorized an extra Pfizer shot for kids ages 12 to 15 as well. Now the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have agreed, recommending that younger teens and those 16 and 17 should get a Pfizer booster 5 months after their last shot. Philadelphia fire officials say the 2 sisters and several other children were among the 12 people killed when a fire tore through a row home that apparently had no working smoke detectors. 8 children lost their lives. Officials say it's the city's deadliest single fire in at least a century. The blaze broke out yesterday morning as 26 people were staying at the 3-story duplex, which is public housing. As many as 8 people were able to escape. The cause of the fire is still being investigated. The Public Housing Authority says the home's smoke alarms were inspected annually and at least 2 were replaced in 2020. With a fast approaching deadline, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation's assessment of multi-state progress shows Pennsylvania remains far behind in holding up its agreement as a major polluter of the Bay. Emily Scott has more.
The Chesapeake Bay Clean Water Blueprint has set a deadline for watershed states, including Pennsylvania, to have pollution reduction practices in place by 2025. A recent State of the Blueprint report by the Foundation revealed that the Keystone State continues to lag in reducing agriculture and urban-suburban pollution. Allison Prost of the Foundation says PA's failure to act quickly threatens the blueprint's success.
And equally as important, the ability to restore local waterways. Because if the Pennsylvania waterways are not clean, the downstream bay will not be clean. But if action is taken on the ground in Pennsylvania, we'll see improvements in both.
Earlier this week, Pennsylvania revealed an updated version of its Phase 3 watershed implementation plan, which it says would achieve 100% of its pollution reduction commitments by 2025. I'm Emily Scott.
Here's the Beaver County forecast from 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and 99.3 FM.
Increasing clouds with a high of 29 degrees today. Snow showers will move in this evening, ending before 1 a.m. Now here in Beaver County, we're expecting less than 1 inch of snow. The further north you go, the less snow you'll see. The further south, the more you'll see. So if you're in Allegheny County, you can expect around 1 to 3 inches of snow in some areas. Low overnight's going to be the real story. 18 degrees. And tomorrow, isolated snow showers throughout the day. The high is going to be 26 degrees. The story, again, will be the temperatures will fall down to 12 degrees overnight tomorrow night. Saturday will rebound with sunny skies, high of 37. Sunday, rain mainly before 2 p.m. with a high of 42. And Monday, partly sunny, high of 26 degrees. That is a look at the news for now. I'm Frank Sparks, Beaver County Radio News, 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, 1230 WBVP AM, 1460 WMBA AM, and beavercountyradio.com.
You're listening to Ask the Commissioners on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. The Commissioners are awaiting your questions by calling 724-843-1888. or 724-774-1888. Today's show is brought to you by Huntington Bank, the Laughlin Insurance Agency, and Beaver Valley Auto Mall. Click BeaverValleyCars.com. You can also post comments or questions in the Facebook Live video feed. And now, it's your chance to Ask the Commissioners, right here on Beaver County Radio.
It is 99.3 FM presented by St. Barnabas. It is 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA. And live streaming on Facebook. And the reason we're live streaming, our friend Jack is here. I'm being boorish and asking stupid questions to get him ready for tomorrow. But you say it's not that bad. Tomorrow is the State of the County address. It's a 2-hour event. Starts, 8 in the morning?
I believe the doors open at 8.
Okay.
8:30 is kind of, they serve some breakfast and people get
situated.
and then somewhere around 8:30, a little before, we'll
whenever they find the
we'll
lead
sit down,
singer.
They'll go through some introductions, and then Dan and I will each speak for a few minutes, kind of kick things off from our perspective of what the last year's been like, and then we'll open it up to the moderator to field questions from the audience, the participants, and
I want to ask you a public speaker question. When you go up there tomorrow, are you going to have something written word for word? Are you going to have note cards? Or are you just going to go up there knowing what you're going to say and say it?
It's funny. Sometimes, if I'm really intent on delivering something specific on a specific item, I'll write it out, and I'll generally follow that script. But I would say the majority of time, I just have some bullets in my head.
Okay. All right.
And
no, I understand exactly.
I speak to those bullet items of I guess that sound good, bullets in my head, but bullet items that I know, talking points that I want to address, and then I just kind of not wing it, because I've thought it through and rehearsed it in my own mind, but I'll just
Have you
be
put
more
the,
extemporaneous.
what you're describing is a set list? Okay. Have you
Okay.
got your set list together for tomorrow, or will that be something you do this afternoon?
I'll probably finish it up this afternoon. I mean, I've been, you know, logging things
Right.
down and perspectives.
Can you give
that
us a
I've had.
hint of anything on the set list?
Well, a lot of the stuff we've talked about all year long on here, just different items that are gone there. But I will probably point out some of the more poignant things that have happened in the past year, and quite frankly, in the 2 years now that I will have been in office. There's still a lot of good, and despite a lot of the gloom and doom talk around the pandemic, I think there's a lot of positives that have come out of this. I think there's been a necessity to change, and I'm someone that's always looking to make things better. The status quo doesn't work in business.
No.
And I don't think it works in government. I mean, and I get in this debate a lot with people. Well, you can't run government like a business. Well, no, a business and the government are different,
Right.
but the principles are the same. The business principles are the same.
How so?
And by that, what I mean, because I spent a lot of time in business, teaching business,
Right.
leadership roles. I mean, the purpose of business is to serve a customer.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of government? In my mind, it's to serve
The constituency.
the constituency,
Right.
right? To serve the public. It's the same thing. So how do you go about doing that? It's being transparent. It's being accessible. It's speaking truth to power when you need to. It's treating people with the respect and dignity that they deserve. Understanding, walking in somebody else's shoes, what they're going through. Having business acumen, understanding the principle of you don't spend more than you can take in as revenue.
Knowing how to
Right.
balance a checkbook.
Right. I mean, those are all fundamental business principles. So, you know, when I come in, and Tony, Dan, and I each have different perspectives, different life's experiences, right? And I think that's what makes us good as a team, is that we don't have the same background coming into this.
It's not three of the same guys.
Yeah, we
Right.
have different skill sets, different perspectives, different competencies, right? Neither good or bad. It just is.
That's
I mean,
what it is. Okay.
When I was 28 years old, I was finishing up my 8th year as a shift worker in a petrochemical plant.
Yeah.
Been married 6 years and had 2 kids. When Dan was 28, he was being elected commissioner. When
Yeah.
Tony was 28, he was a school teacher. I mean, you know, it's just different perspectives.
You hit grown-up life real hard, real fast, didn't you? 8 years of a shift worker, 6 years married, and 2 kids by the time you were 28.
Yeah, but you know, I value that experience. It grounds you in what you do, and then, you know, whatever success I've had in life, and I'll let others be the judge of that, has been showing up when I was supposed to and working hard
Right.
every day. And that's the same kind of philosophy I brought into this. It's the same business philosophy, same government philosophy. I show up every day. I work hard. I run through the tape at the end of the day. I listen to people. I try and solve their problems. Every once in a while, there's a call or an email where I go, yeah,
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
And stuff. But again, I try. It's about people, and business is about people. Government's about people. How do you serve the people? And one of the things with the pandemic that I think has forced us to do is embrace some changes that probably should have taken place to make access to government, the reliability of government, the ability to engage people better. And as much as we hate Zoom calls, there is an efficiency
Yes, sir.
with Zoom that makes things better. And I like to surround myself with folks that aren't so jaded that they don't want to take the initiative to get something done.
Is it jaded
so-
that keeps people from taking the initiative, or is it lazy?
Actually, it's probably a combination of fear
Okay.
Of
fear, change.
And fear of change, and not feeling enabled or capable. I think it's probably that more than it's just laziness. Jaded might not have been right to. And what I mean by that is that a lot of people just like to keep their head down, don't make waves. They have a good idea, but they're afraid, and maybe historically they've been beaten down. Pop your head up, make a suggestion. Somebody beats you down.
Yeah.
Well, that happens a couple of times. I used to say this, when I was in human resources. Nobody comes into a new business or new on a job and says, I'm going to give this company the worst 20 years of work they ever saw in their lives. Nobody does that.
Right.
I truly believe that. Everybody comes in, once excited about that, wants to do a good job.
Career.
Whether you're coming into the courthouse, you're
right.
coming into Shell, or you're coming into McDonald's, and you want to do a good job, but you bang your head against the wall so long, or somebody beats you down. Guess what? You become jaded. You become inherently disinclined to make ideas, and now it's just a paycheck. And life shouldn't be just about collecting a paycheck. And you see these surveys all the time about the happiness index of people. A lot of people are disgruntled with the job, and I think that's because of the culture that's has been ingrained in some organizations. So COVID's forcing us to change, think about things different. And I hope, in terms of treating people with respect and dignity that they deserve, being able to get people happier about what they do.
How true is it that people don't quit jobs, they quit supervisors?
I think that's fairly accurate.
My job's okay, but my boss, I can't deal with him.
Well, it's funny. So I had 37 years of continuous employment, was bought and sold a couple of times in there with mergers and acquisitions, and cycled through a lot of leaders, a lot of supervisors, managers, and the like. And what I've always advised my sons, when they say, this guy's a jerk, I can't work for him anymore. This woman's driving me crazy.
Wearing me out.
And I would generally say, this too shall pass. I mean, don't worry about it. Yeah. Things will change. Learning how to persevere, showing resilience are two traits that I always looked for with people when I was hiring them. People that have been able to overcome adversity and the like. And I think people that, once they experience that a few times in life, they are more adaptable to be able to handle these situations.
Are there people that are more stubborn when it comes to, too stubborn to fail than other people? Because that's how I think of it. It's perseverance is like, I'm going to get this right even if I get it wrong 1,000 times.
Yeah, I don't know the fine line between perseverance and obstinance. Some
focused and stubborn.
Right. Well, another valuable lesson that I've learned is sometimes you're not going to win, and it's the old when riding a dead horse, it's best to dismount, right? Because you're not going to advance. So sometimes you do have to come to that realization. This isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then you try and move on to the next thing. You don't forget about it, and you look for an opportunity to resurrect that horse and get back on it and go forward. But a lot of that perseverance is learning those situations.
How do you deal with people? You described earlier, in your way of thinking, government is providing a service. How do you deal with people that tell you that's not how they see government? They see government as a cash grab. They see government as a power grab. They see government as not doing anybody any good, because and I'm sure you hear from those people. How do you deal with that? Do you try and explain to them what actually gets done, or again, do you cut your losses and stop beating your head against the wall?
No, I think with anything, I have this mental problem-solving model that I go through.
Okay.
With most things, one, I try and gather all the facts that they're there. Then I look at, is this thing doable, implementable? What's the impact on people, and does this fit the big picture of the direction of where we're going as an organization, or what we're trying to achieve? And you have to make sure you understand each of those components, because a lot of people see things only from the impact on people
Right.
and ignore the data and the facts of things. So I try and understand the perspective the person's coming from. Which box are they approaching this from? A big picture of where they want to be, impact on people. Is it a procedural thing, an operational thing, or is it they don't have all the facts and data? And with anything, whether it's, well, like with the environmental group, we talked about in the shallow, and there's no, I'd like to bring, bring different data to the table and say, well, I hear what you're saying, but here are the facts.
Yeah,
you know?
the article that said the cracker plant's done nothing.
Right.
And
So
you pointed out, and you were dead right. If you give me enough data, I can make the data say whatever I want the data to say.
Sure. So you try and get on the right page, same page with all that stuff. So it's the same thing with government. You know, I appreciate. I get these emails that say, as your boss.
I like that. They remind you that right up front.
And your boss.
Yeah.
I demand that you do this. And I always point out, well, you're one of 168,215 bosses that I have.
So
that's the population of Beaver County.
Did you ask them if they voted?
And you're one of 112 registered voters, 112,000 registered voters, and I hear you, and you're a voice.
You're a voice.
And I have to look at the greatest impact on the whole, rather than necessarily a singular point of view when it comes to making a decision.
How often are you tempted to take somebody's email like that and correct the grammar mistakes and send it back?
You know, I don't do that. I don't.
Okay. In your head, do you a little bit?
No, I just take a deep breath before I respond back. And a lot of times I know it isn't going to go anywhere because there's just somebody that's
they're venting, and you're the name they found.
Yeah, and then they're just looking for an outlet, and I take my lumps and do that. I mean, that just comes with the territory of being commissioner. You're gonna take some heat. You're gonna get beat up. Not everybody's. Any decision you make, you can guarantee there's going to be somebody that's going to be disappointed or upset about it. No matter how positively impactful it's going to be for the county as a whole.
It can be a slam dunk for everybody, and somebody's still going to be mad. You knew that coming into this job.
Yeah.
Is that still something that you're able to take comfort in, or because you can understand that? I equate it to being a referee. A referee is going to get yelled at no matter what they do, and after a while, it gets taxing. That's why there are no referees in Beaver County right now.
I accept it. It is what it is. It comes with the territory, and several years ago when I ran, people said, "Hey, you have to develop a thick skin." I said, "Well, I've been a plant manager. I've been a director of human resources. I've been I've had a lot of aggrieved people."
I've had a lot of anger in a meeting.
Confront me on different issues, and I try and explain the situation, try to let them understand the rationale I'm coming from for what I'm doing. But I think everybody always appreciated, and I used to get a lot of positive feedback, particularly when I was in management, was that I was always willing to listen. I don't run and hide.
Okay.
I don't ignore. I don't hang up on people. I'll listen, and maybe there's a little bit of common ground that we can find, even though we're coming at things from polar opposites.
How often do you think it is that sometimes that's all people want?
Many times that's all they want. And some of those really are kind of sad. You can tell that it's somebody reaching out that has nobody. And quite frankly, that's a big part of our role of commissioner, is giving people a voice that don't think they have one or don't have one on their own. Giving voice to their issue, their concern, and that just takes listening and understanding the perspective of what it is. But particularly with our aging population and some of our veterans and stuff, I hear these stories, and it's very, very poignant and very sad to hear that it's fostered out of loneliness and a sense of nobody cares about me, nobody's listening to me.
No connection.
And then, they finally say, let's call the commissioner, one of the commissioners, or all three of us. Sometimes a lot of them are sent to all three of us, and in hopes that we will listen to what they have, and then hope that there's something that we can do about it.
What are you going to do if you ever stop being a commissioner? Are you going to nothing? Go fishing?
I am, if you may not have noticed this before, I'm pretty much a type A personality. I like to keep busy. I mean, I've had the same routine for I don't know how many years now. I mean, I'm up out the house in the courthouse 7 to 7:30. Whether it was the chamber office or the plant, that's who I am. I run through the tape at the end of the day. My phone's always on. It's hard for me to turn things off. I mean, this is what I do. So I haven't really thought about that. Whenever this
day,
term or the next term or whatever. But I plan on running again. But,
okay, that was my next question. You plan on?
Oh yeah.
There's no plan to
absolutely.
say, you know what, I'm going to give this 1 or 2 more terms at most.
If people want me back, I'll be back. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I'm not working on that or dwelling on that at this point. But.
Jack Manning is my guest. It's Ask the Commissioners. Should I have asked you something that I didn't ask you? I know you got the state of the county happening in the morning, and a lot of my questions are going to be answered there, and we're going to rebroadcast that, I think, over the weekend. But should I have asked you something that I didn't?
No, you could have asked, how do I get sponsorship for the Zamboni? We could put a picture.
Oh, dude, I'm all about it.
We can put a picture of you in the Zamboni, and for a certain amount, we'll come up with the...
No, station logo.
Oh, okay.
Just like that on the side of the Zamboni? Does it have heated seats?
I'll talk to Tony Caltori, our director of Park and Rec, and maybe we'll have a conversation with your ownership here.
How much does
Zamboni.
the panel cost? Yeah, sell it like a NASCAR. Get that on it. Now, does it have heated seats?
That I don't know.
Does it have Prager mags on it?
Cruise control, heated seats,
Jensen triaxial
heated
speakers.
steer wheel. I don't know. We'll look into that for you.
It's been Ask the Commissioners, and it turned into sponsoring a Zamboni. I love this job. Jack Manning's been my guest on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Accidents happen. It's just a part of life. Fortunately, Medic Rescue is always close by, ready to provide vital emergency care when you need it. For over 40 years, Medic Rescue has been Beaver County's premier provider of emergency medical care and transport services. Our highly trained paramedics and emergency medical technicians can evaluate emergency situations quickly and accurately, so you get the professional, life-saving care that you need 365 days a year. When you invest in a Medic Rescue membership, you receive top-of-the-line unlimited emergency and medically necessary non-emergency ambulance transports with minimal out-of-pocket expenses. Don't wait another day to sign up for your Medic Rescue membership. Have peace of mind that when an emergency strikes, we'll be there. Become a member of Medic Rescue today. To learn more, call 724-728-3621. That's 724-728-3621. Medic Rescue. Caring for our community.
Highmark Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Allegheny Health Network are pleased to present a new show on Beaver County Radio called Heroes. Tune in every Saturday at 10 and Sunday at 12:30 for Heroes, a wonderful half-hour segment hosted by Jim Roddy that profiles many of the local heroes in this community. Click highmark.com for more information and then tune in for Heroes this Saturday at 10 and again Sunday at 12:30 on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM.